Hello. In continuation of our topics on the basics of the radiations of the dipole antenna, we are coming today the topics of the radiations from an infinitesimal small dipole antenna, that is the antenna where we can say that the antenna size is very small, that is I can say it's the size of a DL and it is along the z axis. That's why we have the current distributions of I0 e to the power j omega t into Iz, and also we are considering it the length of the antenna will be very less, that is L should be less than of lambda by 50. So we can say this type of antenna is an infinitesimal small antenna. Whenever the antenna size is very small, therefore we can assume that the distribution of current will be almost constant, in as well as it is an oscillating field, that is the dipole, it is acting as a dipole, so it's also sometimes known as the doublets of the antennas. And in spherical coordinate system it is situated at the center of the coordinate. Therefore we at any point at any instant of time, therefore the three component of radiation pattern will be the radial component of ER, the azimuth component of E phi, and the elevations component of E theta, and the associated magnetic vector potential will be defined as mu by 4 pi I0 into dl, which is the basic terms of the propagation terms, and I0 e to the power j omega t z is the current distributions across this infinitesimal small dipole antenna. In addition, the vector potentials will be terms as e to the power minus j kr by r, as it is a propagating electric field, where k is the wave propagation constant, that is 2 pi by lambda. Now we have also assumed in the next slide that the antenna size not only the small, it's also that it is a very thin enough, so that we can assume that the total current will remain I0 will be remain constant across the length of this dipole, and as well as it will be distribution of the current will be as constant as it is. Therefore we have to find out the radiated field from the basic equations of Maxwell-Heaviside equations, that the magnetic vector potential will be written as a xyz direction, that is a function of xyz, is equal to mu by 4 pi at a closed integral of the current, that is as usual, that is x dash y dash z, that is the change in coordinate where the position of the r in the spherical coordinate system, that is I can say in these positions, where if it is a xyz and xyz dash is there, therefore we can find out the positions of that like that way. For the infinitesimal small dipole antenna, the to find out the retarded potentials, we have to the special function will becomes as r is equal to x minus x1 dash square root under above against the y minus y dash square and z minus z dash square of root under of that, and as it is a very infinite small dipole antenna, we can assume that x square, y square and z square root under of that is the value of the r, because the x dash y dash and z dash are as in 0. That is we can say the x y that represent the observation point of the coordinates, and x dash y dash z that represent the coordinates of the source. So the observation point and the coordinates of the source, whenever going to in the special functions, we have to define as in that constant, that is the r remain as a constant, that is dl dash is equal to become dz dash. So there will be, we can assume the retarded time as well as to find out the retarded vector potentials will be calculated from there, and we have to find that the vector potential will be as enough is that the total current has minus L by 2, that is the total length if the L, that is the DL we are assuming there, therefore the minus L by 2 plus L by 2 into this delta coordinate systems, and the total current will be coming that like this. And it is nothing but of the previous we have to discuss that it is the vector potential have to be current, have to be the function of the associated current in here, so that we have to say we can find out easily the how much the vector potential will be associated due to the flow of current I0 into this infinitesimal small dipole antenna. Now we are converting this vector potential in the three other spherical coordinate systems, that is AR, A theta and Phi, will be transformed to this spherical coordinate system. Therefore, we can find out the vector potential in the form of x and y terms, that is x and y will become as a 0, and so that that terms will also becomes as a 0. So we can say the magnetic vector potential around the x coordinate x and y will become as a 0, and therefore only the Az will be the survive one, and that's why the radial parts of this vector potential will becomes as, that is will be given here, whereas the azimuth potential is like that way, and as well as the azimuth potential is basically 0, whereas the elevation potential functions of this magnetic vector potential will be given as. So as the solutions of this conversion of this, we have to find out that only the survivableness of this radial component as well as the elevation component, whereas the azimuth component will become 0, as because the Ax and Y are 0 in this infinitesimal small dipole antenna, and therefore we have to find out the associated magnetic field is given by H is equal to like that way by solving from these equations like that way. And similar way, substituting these values, we have to finding out the radial component as well as the elevations component of the magnetic field becomes as 0, whereas the azimuth component of the magnetic field will be survive here. Similar way, we have to also find the electric field potential will be defined as this equation. These equations are basically the equations is known as the Jefferson-Cobb's equations, and from this equation we can find out the associated electric field for this magnetic field there. And as we have to find out the H phi is equal to 0, therefore we have to find that as the H phi is survive, whereas the HR and H theta are 0, therefore as the electric field and magnetic field are perpendicular to each other, that's why we can find that this perpendicular field component, that is which is the surviving magnetic field H phi in the associated of this electric field will be E phi will be 0, whereas the other two component of the magnetic vector potentials which is generated this magnetic field, that is HR and H theta equal to 0, so that we have to find out the E R and the E theta should be like that way. So the electric field component will be persist in the radial component as well as this elevation component, whereas the azimuth component of the electric field will be 0. So there are we have to be electric field the propagations part. We have different field component will be there. One is the electric field in the radial component, electric field in the elevation component, and the azimuth field of the magnetic field, azimuth field in the magnetic field. So these are the electrical field pattern, and this component will be actually derived from the Maxwell's Heaviside equations using the Lorentz gauge and as well as using the Coulomb gauge. In the Lorentz gauge and from the Coulomb gauge, in addition with this Jacobson-Cobb's equation, we finding out this electric and magnetic field as a whole. So therefore the radiated field will be looking like that. where this radiating field, as this field are total field, that is the total field will be there. The radiating field is the component of both the electric field as well as the magnetic field. The magnetic field we previously discussed that it is a closed loop condition. So magnetic field will be in closed loop conditions, whereas the electric field will be associated radially divergence of E, that is it will be divergence from this infinite small dipole antenna. The field associated with these conditions are basically the field which are in reactive in nature. That's why we can say this field cannot be propagated in the far distance. Only the far field conditions, this field are to be survive enough. In the far near field condition, which is also known as the Fresnel field, is basically the condition very small region is there. Here is the reactive field enough where the distance is very small, that is when the distance is less than lambda by 6, and actually we can say this is the less than 2d square by lambda, where d is the dimension of the antenna, and with a far field pattern we have if the r is greater than 2d square by lambda, therefore only the radiated field will be survived. If we consider the total power radiated by the antenna, it will be the Poynting vectors of that is the multiplications, the cross multiplications of the E cross H and over the surface integral, and therefore with the finding out the total field associated with these electromagnetic radiations. Now the conditions is that how this electric field will be going to be radiated. In these conditions we can find out this in the previous slides. We have to go in there. This infinitesimal small dipole antenna is basically that three field component, are some of the field will be survived and some of the field component will not be survived, as we have already discussed here. Now we have to be going to some animated forms how this field are going to be radiated. So this is the animation form where the red portion is basically the reactive portions, where we are going to be from the center to the outer directions. More parts of the reactive field will be vanishes, whereas the radiative field will be survived, and that's why we can say the radiative field can be predominant in the far field pattern, that is the Fraunhofer field pattern also known as, and it is the dimension is basically where the distance is 2d square by lambda. Far field pattern will be survived there. And if we again come back to our PowerPoint presentations, then we can say that this presentations is the next electric field propagated from the source, that is the infinitesimal small dipole antenna, the very near region, that is the regions of less than 2d square by lambda, that are two type of field will be there. One is called the reactive field, another is the radiative field, but in the far field region only the radiative field pattern will be generated. And we have to be communication purpose, we are all only interested in this radiative field pattern, because in the reactive field pattern the pattern is vanishes very closely, because of these terms are basically in proportional to 1 by r square, whereas this pattern in the far field pattern, the pattern are basically predominant 1 by r, so it will be going far enough from the radiation field. Now if we going to term as to define the other antenna parameters like directivity or the gain or the radiation resistance or etc. Therefore we have to be finding out the radiation resistance in for an Hertzian dipole antenna is basically the 280 pi square into dl by lambda whole square, where the E field H field are given here. Whenever we are also, this is also we have to find out the directivity is basically the how it is radiated in a particular directions, and also the associated half power beam width is in there. if the half power beamwidth is less, it means that the directivity of the antenna is high enough. That is, in a particular directions we have to be more radiation. If the antenna direction is the z direction, the radiation field pattern will be looking like that. For infinitesimal small dipole antenna, we have some very interesting things. I am coming here. For an infinitesimal small dipole antenna, suppose we have to be here of an infinitesimal small dipole antenna. To explain it, first I am drawing a transmission line model. First I am going to draw it from here. Draw it the first. It is a transmission line model. There are the two transmission line model. I can say the transmission line model is there, and as we are all previously discussed, the conduction current, that is the mu 0 z, and there will be some this conduction current will be 0 as the end of the conductor. So therefore only after this end of the conduction only the displacement current will be survive. Whenever we are going to discuss this, therefore the conduction current actually being sorry, I have to draw it again. This is a transmission line, parallel transmission line model, and now we are going to do this current distribution there. So I have to take it here, and current distribution terms will be, the current distribution will be minimum here, will be again will be like that way, and the next terms it will be again the current distribution will be like that, and that way, and the associated voltage distributions will be maximum at here and minimum here and maximum here, minimum here, and it will be going on like that way. So this is the voltage distributions and this is the current distribution. As these current distributions are looking like that and the voltage distribution are like that, so therefore the current will be minimum. We have to find that the current will be minimum at this point, and if the direction is like that way, there are another way the current directions will be like this way. So this is the parallel transmission line model of the current distribution in this way, and another the current distribution will be in this direction. Now to make it as an antenna, so what we are doing, we basically folded it. What we are doing, we basically folded it. We folded it means if the wire, two wire transmission line is I can say if the two wire transmission line is like that, we just folded it with that folded one and another folded one. So it will be looking like that. This part will be folded, this part, suppose some part will be folded like that way, and another this part will be folded like that way. So current distributions along that it will be like these directions, and here it will be along these directions. The current distribution will be like that, and therefore the total current distributions, I can say for a Hertzian dipole antenna is I into dl, that is the dl. I into dl is the current distributions. Now if you saw the current distribution, that is in this coordinate, if we say it is as an I, and in this directions I can say in the z direction is then dl, therefore it will be looking like a triangular pattern, because here the very small portion is that is nothing but of a triangle. So I have to say it's the current distribution for this, for the first this portion is a triangle, and another part this portion is also a part of a triangle. So we will get the current distributions of like that. This is the current distributions of this this kind of this and this infinitesimal small dipole antenna. As well as we have to find out the directivity. If we are talking about the directivity, that is the D, we can say directivity Di, which will be in the terms like the 3/2. The term will be very close to the 3/2 into sine square theta, into sine square theta, into I can say the sine square theta. These are the patterns of the radiation field, which from there we have to find out the directivity of there, and the gain and the associated gain for this antenna will be like that way. The term will be very close to to this part only there, that is a 3 by 2 will be there, that is I can say the gain will be 3 by 2, and it will be in dB term, it will be comes as 1.8, that is 1.8 dBi. So this is the directivity of this infinitesimal small dipole antenna. And the most interesting part, the radiation resistance. The radiation resistance is that is the radiation resistance. Radiation resistance will be equal to for in Hertzian dipole it will be 80 into pi square into dl, if the length of the antenna, dl by lambda. You can say the L also sometimes, that's not a problem, this there, L by 2 dl square by lambda. Or in case of infinitesimal small dipole antenna, it will be very close to, that is I can say the very close to infinitesimal antenna, it will be 20 pi square into dl by a lambda whole square. So this is the infinitesimal small dipole antenna. And the half power beamwidth, that is half power beamwidth is also known as the half power beamwidth of this antenna will comes as around 90 degree. It is around the half power beamwidth, means the 3 dB below the maximum power is there, that is known as the half power beamwidth. This is also associated with the directivity of the antenna as well as the gain of the antenna is there. So now this part, that is I can say this part, that is this part of the of this radiation resistance is a very important thing, because whenever we are going to radiation resistance, if the length of the antenna is very less, suppose I can say if dl by lambda, if the condition is that dl by lambda is equal to 1 by 10, if the dl by lambda is 1 by 10, that is 1 by 10, therefore we can find this radiation resistance dr is equal to near about the 7.84 ohms, whereas if this dl by a lambda, that is antenna become more shorter in size, that is if I can say the 1 by 100, therefore this terms if we put here, it will becomes as, that is the you can say that the dr part will be comes at 0. We can say that 0.078 ohms, 0.78 ohms. So we can from this term we can say less the size of the antenna, we have to go, the radiation resistance will be below enough. It means whenever the radiation resistance is less, therefore the antenna will have to be matching problem, because we know the wave impedance, that is the free space impedance, is always 377 ohm. We always tell that the free space impedance is 370 ohm, that is E by H. It is always remain constant in the far field pattern. So you can also say that the free space impedance, that is basically the E by H, that is basically the E by H, which is always remain constant in all the cases. So to the radiation resistance and this mismatch is the max will be very high. So we cannot say that this type of antenna is basically very efficient antenna, as well as for the matching purpose this antenna will not serve our purpose in the matching condition also. So this infinitesimal small antenna are basically uses in the cases where for the analysis part also, or where for the any kind of antenna we have to be taken care of infinitesimal small part, and then we have to be summing up and we can get the total radiation pattern, total radiation resistance, etc. So actually infrared recessional antenna is not practically usable. It is basically representations of the analysis of the practical antenna, which will come of our next discussion for the practical dipole antenna and etc. etc. To discuss this topics, we have to take the references from these books, and some hard works of are going here, and I hope you enjoy how an antenna is basically going to work and the fundamentals of the radiations part and etc. etc. And thank you very much for your interest.